just, this defensive line for Capital City making you pay anytime there's a mishap. They are making Kirksville pay dimes.
Extra point upcoming for the Cavaliers. Looks like they've got some confusion. 9 seconds left on the play clock, and they're going to take a timeout. First charge timeout of the half for Capital City. They were thinking about going for 2, so they're trying to switch out the extra point team for special teams and put back in the offense.
Take a look at Kenna McNeil just scooping, scoring, and really making Crispin pay again once more. Just, this ability for this team just to kind of make Kirksville kind of miscommunicate a little bit and make those turnovers points on the board. That's exactly what you want to see, especially on a senior night with some senior leaders. And yet seeing the undergrads learn those lessons from senior leaders too.
Even after the timeout, Capital City was missing a offensive lineman. And now the clock is stopped.
Still utilizing the timeout as much as they could.
The play clock got reset to 25. There is a whole lot of personnel coming on and off the field. The officials are trying to figure out if they can get set. Look in the top of the screen, the official trying to get set in the back of the end zone.
They're going to have to hurry and do something here.
And now they've got the lefty kicker, Roberto Messias, on for the extra point. The kick is wide right and no good. Just a ton of confusion going on right there. I don't think I've seen anything like that all season long, Joe. I mean, you had the offense on the field. Now, of course, Hayden Carroll holds for all the kicks, so it's normal to see him on the field. But then the kicker, A.J. Kempker, was not on the field. So I think Joe Collier said, you know what, you're not prepared to be on the field. Where's my backup kicker? Which I would think is Joe Schaefer.
You would think that.
And Joe Schaefer wasn't on the field. So then they throw Roberto Messias out there, and there's just all types of confusion on the field at that point in time. I don't know what was going on there, Joe.
I mean, it just looked like they were trying to maybe go for a little bit of a fake to say, hey, we're going to act like we're going to kick, but then instead sneak in for the 2. But even at that, there was one, I guess, just the setup for number 50, Matthew Wiegand, who was pointing at the kicker just to make sure that he can get there on time. He's like, what are you doing? Get here right now. But nonetheless, just an absolute mismanagement for the extra point, and now still Capital City in full control. That is about of a cluster just mishap that we've seen all season long.
Messias boots this one deep, and Crispin will let it go back into the end zone.
So we're going to see what Crispin can do. 28.1 to go. Because we've seen Kirksville really get some explosive plays out of nowhere, thanks to the arm of Danielson, excuse me. But how can you battle and just try to get more points closer and closer just to make sure that you can secure that automatic bye and have a bonus week to take off?
Late player came onto the field for Capital City. Sincere Davis wasn't set up with his defense, and more mishaps continue for this Capital City team.
Starting to see some names that we don't see normally on the field for Capital City, so you have to wonder if this is, just a new scene that they're getting used to, leading in late game situations with 1 quarter to go.
Into the fourth, big time lead for Capital City. Back with the rest of the ball game right after this.
You won't read about my mom in the history books, but she's gonna change history forever. You'll never learn about her in school, but she'll redefine everything we know. She's not a scientist or a doctor, but she's gonna help save a lot of lives. My mom works at MediaCom, and they're going to bring us one of the world's first 10G broadband platforms. Mom says, dream big.
We're back with your Bolt overview. Let's take a look at the game overview presented by Mediacom Bolt. We're taking fast further. Be among the first in your community to get lightning fast internet by pre-registering at mediacom.com/bolt. That's mediacom.com/bolt. Joe, break it down.
I mean, you talk about Bolt, you talk about this third quarter with 4 touchdowns back to back to back, and yet it's been Capital City who's been benefiting from most of them this evening. Just incredible yardage that they've had, and continuing to keep it on the ground with touchdowns from Thomas, Jacobs, and even Hayden Carroll getting in on the fun too. And not to mention number 32 on the scoop and score, Landon McNeil, getting on the board as well, and just an absolute explosive quarter for Capital City. It's the most points they've scored in a game this season.
Third and 6 from the 24-yard line for the Kirksville Tigers, who are clinging on to dear life. Danielson will just take it out of bounds. And the punting unit on its way out. And now Cameron Harrison back deep to return alongside Nehemiah Hamilton. Feeling good when you can get the return to land right at the 41. That's where Capital City will start their drive. Hayden Carroll is on the bench.
Take a look.
Talking to Joe Collier to get all the signals and signs.
You take a look for Capital City. Most points scored in a game in school history. Previous record just came, incidentally enough, last week against Truman. And getting the big one over at Independence. Let's go to 6-2 on the season. Barring any miscommunication or even anything wild happening here tonight, should still be a high record for Capital City.
So Hayden Carroll keeps the handoff. He's going to give off to Nehemiah Hamilton, and it looks like a cramp. Down on the field, I believe that's Nehemiah Hamilton. He's been such a good player for this Capital City team. Defensively, we've seen him make some great plays. Special teams as a return man, but had just gotten his first taste of offense on the night, and looks like he's down with the cramp, Joe.
I mean, you talk about a guy who's going to be absolutely hungry and ready to go out there for your team. Hamilton is just an absolute dynamite player, making it happen day in and day out. As he's going to be walking off, not putting any weight on that ankle. The fans having some fun here tonight.
It's homecoming, why not?
Absolutely. You've got some some great costumes celebrating Halloween. Halloween a week early, we should say, at least.
You know, you got to give a lot of credit to this community of Jefferson City, being willing to embrace Capital City as a new high school and really get behind these athletic programs and these new young men. Here's Layden McDaniel. Is he got a house call coming for him? He does! 49 yards! He's got a scoop and score, and now he's got a rushing touchdown. How about it for senior night? The junior cashes in twice.
Oh my goodness, back-to-back touchdowns too also for the junior. Just cutting his way through the defensive teeth, moving closer and closer, and it has been all Cavaliers all night, and just an absolute dynamite performance this time from number 32.
A.J. Kempker gets his job back as the place kicker. Landon McNeil rushes off the field. And the kick is up and through. 54 points, turns to 61. And Capital City leads big at home.
This is the internet that keeps the TV streaming, the meeting zooming, the playlist flowing, and the doorbell showing who's coming and going. This is the internet that powers the workout, that does the homework, that makes the lights work, that makes for light work, and makes...
Don't forget to pick up Charlie.
...your life work. This is the internet that keeps it all connected and has hundreds of people who ensure it's protected.
Nice try, hackers.
This is the internet voted best, because it's extreme, nothing less.
Oh, there's the Kirksville special teams as they get set to welcome the football back. And we say hello from our broadcast spot here at Atkins Stadium. Great camera crew right next to us, and Alex Gordon.
Alex, real MVP. Also, shout out just to our entire crew for just being absolute, just the best team to work with all season long. Mike, James, Cody, Jason, everybody out there. As of course we see Mike just dominating the sidelines too, by the way. Got to give him some credit as well.
How about Mike Kelly getting us all the looks that we need on that sideline cam? All those close-up shots that you've seen all night long come courtesy of Mike, one of the best in the business. So Kirksville takes the football back as the clock now runs with a 35-point lead in Missouri high school football. The clock will run.
So it just continues to run down further and further with 8 minutes left to go. Now you think about next week, and just think about the energy that you've seen tonight from this Capital City team and what they can do come playoff time. Hopefully a few less of the offsides and false starts, though. But just really of what this team has been done, just to rebuild from going 1-9 last year, now rebounding and going 7-2 on the season thus far. Going to be interesting to see how they're going to handle battle, and keep in mind they've got an explosive offense too in their leader, Justin Goolsby.
1st and 5. And off running right is Jace Kent. How about we look at one of the young men that's been making some noise on this Tiger offense, and it is Jalen Kent. He's been the premier target all season long for Isaac Danielson, and he has been exactly that tonight.
Absolutely, and just his ability just to rush through, get INTs, and get points on the board, and just his ability to run and make plays happen just when you least expect it, including a nice little run back off the punt too, as he was just doing whatever it takes to keep his Tigers into the game. And he's going to be a force to be reckoned with, and he's just been a big integral part of this Kirksville offensive attack. Tigers are going to be second and 16 on their own 32.
Going deep. Caught. Carter Pinkerton, the sophomore, coming down with the big grab in one-on-one coverage against Isaiah Franklin.
Just a great sight and just a great route coming from the sophomore quarterback now in the game, Ryder Lyons, for Kirksville. So we're going to see what this young sophomore can do a little bit. See if he can try to get some points on the board and just try to get some confidence instilled in this team as we are just under halfway, or over halfway in this fourth.
Pitch it right, Jace Kent. You're seeing the future of Kirksville football on the field right now. Jace Kent, the sophomore, brother of Jalen Kent, the senior, that we showed you in the highlight package a little bit early. Brendan Bailey, the junior, he split out left of the formation. And on your screen right now, Ryder Lyons alongside Jace Kent. Jake Bohan, the junior wide receiver, split out to the right. And in motion right is Carter Pinkerton. Handoff, Kent. He's got some room. Kent, second level. Across the 15, dragged down at the 14.
Nice little run coming from the younger Kent. And just sliding through closer and closer just to try to get some points on the board, taking advantage of the gaps in the open Capital City defense. As the clock continues to run, 61-15. Going to be interested to see if Capital City can try to at least ease the damage done here this evening.
Ball on the floor. Luckily, Jordan Kent was there, or Jace Kent rather, was there to fall on top of it.
So they're just continuing to push forward. We're under 4.5 minutes left to go, and just any form of confidence that Kirksville can get right now, you're starting to see, an offensive unit that can really make some noise down the road.
Stretching left, Jace Kent breaks a tackle inside the 10, and clock keeps rolling as he stays in bounds.
Nice little run coming from Kent, taking advantage of the open left seams. And just continuing to push forward left. And taking advantage of some of the open field and easing on these long second downs, making them more manageable thirds. Not converting into first. Going to be interested to see if they're going to go with a little bit of a short run or just try to get the quick pass in past the pylon.
Motion right, Sullivan Clark. Ryder Lyons will take it to the house. A touchdown for Kirksville.
Nice EQB touchdown from Ryder Lyons. Does the fake handoff, eases past 1, 2, 3, and gets it in for 6. So that'll stop the clock at 3:22 left to go. Just great offensive ability coming from Lyons. I'm going to be excited to see what he's going to be doing as he takes the reins next year in that QB1 spot.
Yeah, a little bit more of the prototypical build, 6'3", 170. As the handoff goes to Jace Kent, he's got nowhere to go. So Kirksville puts a couple of more on the board. It's a 40-point lead for Capital City over Kirksville with 3:22 to go. How about the senior Hurley Jacobs doing what he does best?
I mean, we talk about Hurley Jacobs so much and his offensive ability just to try to make those tight defensive units and really read them easy as pie and just kind of vaulting his way, if not hurling his way into the end zone and just making it happen. The senior making big noise on senior night.
He's made all the plays that you would want him to make, and he's done even more.
One thing I kind of heard before the game, they were recognizing all the seniors, is that his favorite moment as a Cavalier during his time here at Cap City was just being out there on the field with his guys no matter what. And that's just, a true football heart and a true leadership heart that he's had for this team ever since he's been playing with the young freshman team back in 2019.
Mishandled, it did Cameron Harrison, but now he's got some room to work with. Return up to the 37 after it looked like it was going to be a botched kick return. And now you wonder if Hayden Carroll's night is done. It might be. Isaiah Franklin heading on the field next. Jalen Thomas, the freshman, I mean, what can this kid not do?
I mean, he's been learning underneath Jacobs, and he has been taking the running back job and running with it in just absolute flying colors with just his performance of reading past defenses, getting burst of speed, moving forward. Jalen Thomas, what can we say about him that already hasn't been said on the season?
Isaiah Franklin takes it himself. Look at Franklin go! To the 30, 20, 10, 5, house call! The sophomore goes 62 yards on the first play that he's under center. Oh my!
Just an incredible fake sneak. He was looking for McNeil, but just runs it all on his own. And how about that? Franklin going all the way on his own, the sophomore QB. He's someone who's going to be making some noise down the road, too.
You talk about a dog mentality. He's definitely got one. We see it on defense. We've seen it on the offensive side of the football. As A.J. Kempker puts it through the uprights to make it a 47-point lead. This is just a great display of football. You know, a lot of times, Joe, you say, this is great. This is great offense, right? This is premier defense. I think all three phases of the game tonight have just been in Capital City's favor.
Absolutely. I mean, if you had grades for offense, defense, and special teams, I mean, this would be an honor roll performance tonight, honestly. And just, credit to, once again, the coaching staff at Capital City for instilling this in their team, but also, too, for everybody stepping up. Not just the seniors, but the underclassmen, which I feel like we've seen them make a little bit more noise this evening than what we've been accustomed to, rather. And this is just, the absolute bolt of confidence that you need going into playoffs starting next week. And also, too, just the future of what we're going to be seeing with some of these underclassmen just continuing to be so dominant. The future is bright, and it is blue here at JC Mo.
How about one more kickoff from Roberto Messias? It is fielded at the 20. And a big-time open field tackle to